Okay, so now let's start off with the couple of slides first. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's all the slides that you'll be seeing. So well, basically in these 6 slides is to share about some of the maybe from definitions and misconceptions, all the way to a thought process, and even how to do business virtually, and even a little checklist that I will actually run it through verbally. And hopefully that this will actually give everybody some insights of what it is. Okay, so first one is, okay, I can actually share with you. You see, this is that's all the slides. Okay, I don't go into the details of exactly what all the little point forms and all this. No, I think it's important that especially for you to listen. So let me start off with a very quick and simple one. So first and foremost, what is sales? A lot of people always think that sales means just selling, but then again, sales actually helps your business in running in the short term, meaning that as long as there's something for you to sell, whether it's a product or is it a service, and in exchange you get cash, you get money to come back. And when that happens, it means that you're actually selling something, and you're actually getting the returns. And this is usually for short term. Okay, why do I say short terms? Short term doesn't mean that you just buy and then you just sell and then that's it. Short term meaning that it's actually a very realistic measurements of a transaction that's being ongoing. And when you say sales, it also means that it can be a continuation. But however, it is a bit different when you talk about business development. Whereas business development actually ensures your business actually survive and actually grow in the longer term. So just imagine, I have a product, I purchase it at say $1. I mark up at about say another 20%. So I sell it to someone who is about $1.20, and then that's it. Okay, so I may be able to make the profit of 20 cents, and the 20 cents can probably help me in the operational costs, salaries, renters, utilities, and stuff like that. But that is only in terms of short term. I keep selling. So every time I sell, I can probably make a profit of about 20 cents per item. But however, business development is different. When it comes to business development, it simply means that you're not selling anything. Okay, you're not selling a product, you're not selling a service, but you're selling the whole entire business. Okay, the whole entire concept, the whole entire assurance to a potential customers. When I say potential customers, simply means that these customers may not even buy from you. Okay, it's a potential. That means that you're targeting this particular person, and to tell him that, hey, this company A, we have the right people, we have the right product, and down the road, should you have any requirement, any needs, come to us. We will be able to fix your problem. We'll be able to solve your problem. But in exchange, I'm trying to give you values. I'm not trying to sell you an item now where you don't need, but instead I'm actually giving you an opportunity to myself, an opportunity to you to be able to align together that should you have any requirements down the road, I can actually help you in that. So the business development is basically sort of like, helping you to do a closing in product sales, but not immediate, but more to sell you the understanding that we are there if you need us. So, however, sales is a bit different. Sales is actually quite straightforward. It's a direct transactions. Okay, I have something that you need, I sell it to you, I make a profit from it, you get the product, and then we move on. So I think this is where the part where a lot of people always get confused about, hey, if I'm doing sales, if I'm doing business development, are they similar? Answer is actually not. So basically, when you talk about business development, it simply means that you actually put it all together, and the initiatives and activities actually to make the business better. So let's say, for example, I'm a business development manager, which I was. Okay, when I first started my first job, I was actually a business development engineer. So that was a combination of I'm actually selling the company's products with the concept and ideas, okay, to someone who may not need it now. But when we talk about sales, it's actually quite straightforward. Sales got to do with profit. Sales got to do with building a relationship, but the relationship may actually be started off with a short term, and then eventually, hopefully, with business development, I can actually grow it into a bigger relationship that has the depth and has the breadth. And hopefully, I can also understand a bit more about why you need our products, why you need our services, and I can even probably wraps around some business strategies and then to help you to make the decisions better. Whereas, as I mentioned earlier, when it comes to sales sites, lots of people always have this misconception that to do sales means that you really have to be very good in talking. You have to be very good in, probably even sometimes the borderline of misrepresentations, or that you probably even have to be cunning, or that probably, is a matter of either you have that skill or you don't have the skill. And it's not something that you can actually pick it up. Well, basically, these are all misconceptions, which I will explain a bit later. And also, a lot of people always think that if you're a very good salesman, you should be able to manage a team of people, because you're just trying to sell them a concept, trying to sell them a certain, a behavior directions for the company. And also another thing is that if you want to start your own company, it's better that you have to have some sales skills in order to start a company, because if you start a company, you're supposed to know how to sell. That is also another misconceptions. And also another thing that a lot of people always think that sales is either you have it or you don't have it, because if you have it, you're able to sell anything. Okay, I think this is also a huge misconception that a lot of people are always thought of. Okay, so the truth of the thing is that sales, is it really built in, meaning that when you're born with it, you actually know how to sell? So does it mean that no, this skill set is only pertaining to people who want to sell things? I think it's wrong. My experience to share is that I feel that everybody should know how to sell. Okay, so what do I mean? I mean, when we say selling, if you're talking about, as a title on the business card, that means that you're a sales manager, means that you have to sell. The concept of selling maybe a product by itself, maybe an idea, excuse me, maybe a value by itself. But I think that everybody must know how to sell. So when we talk about how to sell, it can actually be seen as easily as you're trying to sell a product. But when we talk about selling, I think you should actually look into selling like a business development, and business development like a selling. So what do I mean? Meaning that what you need to do is that you first have to identify what does the other party actually require. Because if the other party is not quite sure exactly what he or she needs, then this is where your business development skill comes in. Meaning that you come in, you identify what he or she may need now, what he or she may need later. Then you can actually wrap around saying that, okay, so if based on your requirements for now or for later, maybe I can actually do some recommendations. Perhaps you may want to adjust some of your requirements, some of your needs, and therefore I can come in and then I help you a bit better. So it is also a misconception that you have to blend in sales as sales, business development as business development. I think that's wrong. I think most importantly is that you must know how to sell. When you were talking about selling, it's never about selling the product. I think it's all about selling a value. First and foremost, if you want to be a good salesman, or even as an individual, even if you're a technical guy, you're a CTO, when you're talking about selling, it simply means that you are going to position yourself that you are there should these customers require anything from you. So this itself can actually position in such a manner that I'm here. I understand what you need, or I may not understand deep enough of what you need, but talk to me. And when you're able to reach that level, it actually makes it much easier for people to trust you. I think the difference between someone who can actually sell well and someone who cannot sell well, it may probably be other than your products. It's probably bringing values and also at the same time bringing trust. If you're not able to build that trust, I think it's going to be very difficult, because you may not be able to understand exactly what the other party may need. And when you're able to do all this, then naturally it makes it easier for them to trust you. And when someone trusts you, the values that you're going to bring over can actually be multiplier effects inside. Okay, so let me just scroll up a bit here. Okay, so when we come to talk about strategy, so let me break it down between sales versus business development. I think in sales, as I mentioned, okay, if you want to be a very fantastic salesperson, again, when I say salesperson, doesn't mean that you have to be a salesman or you have to be a sales manager. Simply means that you are someone who can actually bring that value to someone by having the person to trust you. I think one of the biggest problem, which is incidentally, I'm actually an engineer by training. I was from Singapore Poly, material engineer. So when I came up, I always have this understanding that, hey, it's better to be an engineer and rather to be a salesman. Partly it's because to be a salesman, as I mentioned just now, some of the misconception which I had also is that I have to go out to sell a product that I may not even believe in it, but I just want to sell and then make some money out of it. And one of the biggest problems that a lot of salesperson always have is that they always overpromise, and then they go back to the product guy, they go back to the technical guys, and then tell them that, hey, sorry, I sometimes they're not even sorry. It's like, hey, I already promised these customers that we can do that. So can you just rush it up? Can you just do something on that? So that was the understanding that I had. And but incidentally, so when I joined this company, well, it is known as Selectron now. It's a contract manufacturer, and I was involved in a pump PDA. Well, if you are as old as me, I'm 46 this year, 1975. So you probably know what's a pump PDA, personal digital assistant. So I was involved in that projects, and where they the manufacturer, the design manufacture the accessories and stuff like that. So like voice recorder and stuff. So when I joined them, I joined as a business development engineer. So I'm skilled towards more to the business development, mainly to identify where are the areas of growth, and then look at the directions, working across multiple departments, because business development itself is not about just trying to get more sales. Okay, that's probably a sales job. But at the same time, because I'm looking more for the mid to long term, I actually have to support the sales personnel, meaning that the sales guys, when they're down in the market, on the ground, they can probably hear from customers what they need and what they do not need. And then they share with us, and then I understand, okay, that these customers, maybe from these particular demographics, they may actually need this more than that. So what do I mean? So for example, like a pump PDA, so probably something like a phones. Maybe just imagine like iPhone 12, iPhone 11s, something smaller. No, there was using lots of buttons with it. So here's the thing. Lots of people were like, okay, I have a PDA, I have a device, I want to sell to the market. So how does the accessories going to be designed? So the product guy will work together with the sales guys, will work together with manufacturing, will work together with us, to say, okay, this is the product that we want to do. And we need to go to market and to find out. So this is where marketing comes in, doing surveys and everything. But for us, as a business development engineer, I'm not going to see it from just the business itself. I have to see from an engineering point of view. So what do I mean? So for example, we are Asians. So in general, Asians, our pump are not that big. Okay, mine is not a good example because I'm very tall. Okay, so for example, in general, probably like, let's say in Asia, at least in Southeast Asia, most of the folks, their palm is actually not very big. So that means that when you design an accessories, what we did was it was actually a voice recorder that you attach to the device. So you see, the thing is that from a business point of view, okay, you want to sell more, nothing wrong with it. But however, from a business development engineer point of view, I actually see it as, okay, I know sales want to sell a lot more. I know the technical and the product side, they want to make sure that the process of a manufacturing is cost effective and efficient enough. But from a business development point of view, I have to see that the person who actually buys it, who use it, they actually find it comfortable enough that the next generation and the next generation of devices, of the accessories that you're going to produce, is actually can attract them. Why? Because trying to get a new customers usually costs much, much more than trying to get an existing customers to buy more. So that was my role. So my strategy as a business development was to go down to the ground, talk to the fella, come up with a prototype, and then let them try it out. So the first few things that I did was, just make a size, make different sizes, and then we share. We get a whole bunch of people to try it out, and then they try it out. So typically, okay, if you happen to be a right-hander, okay, right hand, most likely you will be putting your devices on your left pocket. Okay, vice versa, if you are left-hander, okay, then you will probably put your devices on the right side. I'm saying this mainly more targeted at the male, okay, more on the guy's side. Because during that time, most of the PDAs, the devices purchased was actually done by more guys than ladies. So when we tested out, we actually tested out with a lot of users and asked them, hey, what do you think? Then we realized that because it's right-hander, when you take it out, you are using your left hand to take out the device. So when you took out the device, okay, you may actually pass it to your right hand, or is it actually you open it up on your left hand and then use your right hand and press on the screen. I mean, if you don't believe me, you can actually think about how you actually carry your phones, especially for guys. Is it true that you're right-hander, you put your phone on the left side, and then when you take out your phone, you use the left hand, but when you're talking about control, pressing buttons, are you actually using right hand or using, fingers of the right hand or fingers of the left? So most likely you will be using left hand to hold your phone and then use your right fingers, fingers of right hand, and then you press. So that was something that we actually, we worked together closely with the engineer teams and we worked with the sales team. And the funny thing was that we went in with the understanding that we want to get more sales, but not now, but for long term. And we do discover that apparently it is actually quite interesting that most right-handers actually put their devices on the left side. And therefore, if we were to design the accessories should focus on the left hand, the thumb of the left hand, so that this person can actually press on the device, hold the device, and then you can actually use the right, side to actually. Last time we were actually using stylus to write and all this. And so why am I sharing you on this? There's a huge difference, as I mentioned, because just earlier on I talked about a bit more about these sales. But from business development, you have to look into a lot of aspects of it. And this is also where you work with a lot of, the departments. Because from a business development side, you are not just solely, as the department itself. In fact, for efficiency or even effectiveness, I will always recommend my clients that if you do have a business development person, it is always best to put the business development persons into different departments, at least to work for a month or 2 weeks, to let him or her actually understand that in order to be a very good business development personnel, you actually have to understand which of the departments, what have they been doing, what are the pain points, and then from here you can actually understand the whole entire concept of a business, so that when you go and engage a potential clientele or potential customers, you know exactly what kind of pain points are you trying to target. Okay, so that is actually one of the strategy that I will always recommend. But on the other side, if let's say if you're more in the sales side, so I think the very first thing that you always have to understand is that what, where, all the W's, your what, where, when, how, or even if with a H. Okay, basically your what, where, when, how, why, and all this. You should actually circle it around. That means using these few alphabets, okay, that you can always repeat. So for example, you may want to first and foremost know what are your goals. Okay, when I talk about what are your goals, means me. If I'm the sales personnel, I'm the salesman, I have to understand what are my goals. Okay, if my goals is actually to sell more computers, if my goals is actually to sell more, software as a platform, platform as a service, okay, or software as a service. Okay, if my objective is actually to sell more house, if my objective is to sell more things, then I have to ask myself the W's. What are my goals? How am I going to reach it? Okay, why should I reach it? Where should I target? When should I target? The kind of stuff. So you can always use these few and then just put it into different questions, because you'll be surprised. Some of these folks, when they sell, a lot of them sell because of, as one of the drive, maybe the commissions, maybe the figures, the extra monies that they can bring. To be honest, nothing wrong with it. But I think to differentiate yourself, to be a really good salesman, I think the first and foremost is that you have to understand all these W's, okay, what, where, when, how, and all this, to yourself first. Because don't be surprised, whatever that you see, it is usually from your angle, your point of view. Again, nothing wrong because you are driven. But however, to differentiate yourself, okay, you will probably have to look into what the other party wants from you. I think this is more important, because sometimes when you're selling a product, you may actually do a one-time sales only. As I mentioned earlier, it is always easier to get someone who had purchased or buy an item from you and then to buy more from you. And that's where you build a strong relationship. So sales guys, there are several types. Some of them just, like, well, I hate to say this, but some of them just hit and run. Just do one-time sales and then they forget it. But if you're looking at the long run, those who actually do a hit and run, meaning that they just sell one time and then they disappear and they don't come back to you. Support is gone, everything is gone. Eventually, it's going to hurt the business. Okay, so if you happen to be the owner of the business, you may want to look into such kind of personnel, whether do you actually want to hire them. Because if you want to hire someone to actually do a hit and run, eventually it is going to bite. The sales may go up well, but eventually it's going to bite you on on your business. Preferably find someone who actually get trained up, not as a sales personnel itself, but similarly like the business development guy that I mentioned, put him or her into multiple departments. Okay, stay there for 2 weeks, stay there for another 2 weeks. Now learn the ropes so that it will be clearly defined of exactly what the company is trying to achieve and what kind of customers can you try to get. Because one of the challenges that a lot of salesperson that they face, it may be seen as trying to get sales leads. Okay, it may be seen as trying to get sales leads, but in fact, the bigger challenge is actually to maintain the relationship. Because if you have sales personnel, who see themselves, I'm just purely sales. I leave the business development, activities to my colleague, which is doing business development. Then this is where the business may not be able to grow as fast or as rapidly as you want. So preferably, if you're coming from a business owner, the strategy will probably be blend the sales guy and the business development guy together, so that each and every one of them can see what they are doing, and preferably there will be an overlapping. One for the short term, meaning that generate sales, and then the other one is more for the midterm and to the long term, because both parties actually need each other a lot. Because compared to your technical guy, your manufacturing, or even productions, they are probably more in physically in the office, physically in the factories, physically in the labs. So they may not be able to see what's outside. So this is where you need sales guys to go out to hear, listen, and then to say, okay, we may probably need to pivot. I'm coming back because the other side is actually selling cheaper. The other side is actually selling better. And then they have more function, they have more features. Sales guy run over to the business development guy. Business development guy will be able to put on his hat or her hat to look at, is this a war that we want to start? Is this a fight that we want to start? But how does it help the business in the midterm versus to the long term, or even just for short gain? I think these are the few strategies that we actually have to look into it. Okay, next one is thought process. Okay, so here's the thing. I won't go into explaining what is thought process and everything, but basically, in general, I think it's basically using your mind to actually consider, to be a bit more mindful, to consider things a bit more careful, and also at the same time to look at things from a different perspective and from things from different angles. Again, this may sound stereotype, but because of the job descriptions, which a lot of companies are not always put in when you hire, will always be sales guy. You are measured by targets. Sales guys, you are measured by your sales, and a sales guy, you are measured by certain key performance indicators, and which usually surround around cash, surround around bonus, or surround around these all these measurement. Give me a minute. Yep. Excuse me. Yeah. So I think there's nothing wrong with that, but take note, if you're in the hiring process, let's say for example, if you are the owner, the business owner itself, or even the startup founders and all this, you have to understand, don't measure them, okay, or sorry, don't give them the kind of measurements based on that. It may sound stereotype, that why, isn't this is what sales guys are? Yeah, sure. But you also don't want to create an environment where you are driven only by pure numbers. Okay. If you are the owner yourself, when you created such kind of environment, okay, the thought process of all the sales personnel who comes in will eventually be skewed towards, I just need to bring in figures. I just need to bring in numbers so that I can get the bonuses. So it's a carrot and a stick. I dangle the carrots in front of you, and then you run as fast as you can. Sure. But do you know that, in a lot of companies that are very successful, it is not just pure sales by itself. It's all teamwork. Yes, the sales guy may be running outside, seeing things, trying to get sales. But I think you have to understand the thought process of a lot of these folks. Okay, it can actually be conditioned. So if you bring them in and then somehow you condition into thinking of, hey, everything is all about numbers, then you have to be mentally prepared, because such kind of person, the personality, the characteristics, all this is being driven just by purely numbers. One day, eventually, if another company offers something better, they will probably just jump. I'm not saying that they are not loyal, but I'm just saying that it cannot just be just pure sales figures only. You have to understand the thought process. You have to understand that, hey, okay, how about if I'm able to create an environment where it is not just individual by numbers, but actually as a company by itself? Because a salesperson is probably the first person that any potential buyers will meet. Okay, you can probably tell me, hey, yeah, how about the marketing? Yeah, sure. But marketing are running, advertisements, running articles and stuff like that. Excuse me. Let me drink water. Yeah, excuse me. So in this case, I think it's important that it is a responsibility not only for the human resource HR, but also at the same time, you must understand, if you want to condition them to think of it in such short term, eventually it will come and hurt your company. Because sometimes when they sell, they just want to sell the numbers. And any problems that they may actually take a while to rectify, or maybe there may be some problems, or maybe some feedbacks or some negative feedbacks, they may actually not come back to you. Because if they come back to you, there's a risk of your best selling products may actually be recalled. Your best selling products may actually be delayed, or maybe it creates such a frenzy that as long as I create sales, I think that's what I need. So I think this is important, that when you hire all of them, it is always good to put them into different departments, and then get to know and have at least be empathy to understand that each and every department have their own challenges. So it's not just about selling. You probably have to look into the safety aspect. You have to look into the social responsibility. You also have to look into, are you actually able to deliver a good quality product based on the price that you pay? So this is where thought process have to come in quite clearly, okay, to understand each and every of the sales personnel, to tell them that, hey guys, while sales is important, but the reputation of the company is also as important. And then create an environment where they can actually put not just themselves, okay, but also put the business in front whenever they meet the customers. So when they are meeting the customers, it is about the company itself first, the business itself first. So the kind of thought process you have to generate in such manner that they can actually understand that, hey, they are not just selling for themselves, they're actually selling for the business, for the company together. So the thought process, when you draw it down, it actually so grow into them. And this make it much easier when everybody start to work as a team, okay? Why? Because too many companies that my company BlackStorm that we work with, we realize that there's always companies that sometimes when they grow too big, they have sales department, but the sales department sometimes they are split by products. Okay, so if this company have these departments, and then these sales departments will probably separate by products, and each and every one of them are being pit against each other. And sometimes there's overlapping, because you are not talking about one kind of customers buying one kind of product. It can be one customers buying multiple products, because why? It's an industry, and they actually need several things to link them up together. So this is it ended up when the companies put sales, put numbers in front. It sometimes creates ethical issues. It creates ethics issue where some of the sales personnel will just want to sell more, but without having a care of the company's reputations, and then eventually lawsuit and all this actually comes in. So this is why sometimes companies actually hire us to help to fix some of these issues, including training the sales personnel to actually be a better one. Especially all this stem from the directions of the company. So similarly, I think for number 3, I'm more concerned about the sales personnel rather than the business development side. Okay. Yep. Okay, so number 4. So, well, basically, to put it more bluntly, the one question that you always need to ask is, what drives you? I think that's all. What drives you? D-R-I-V-E, drives. D-R-I-V-E-S, drives you. As I mentioned earlier, which I cover a few, the thinking, the drives of a salesperson versus a business development person are very different. Today, we are not talking about individual itself, okay? We're talking about the kind of environment that actually, get created. You don't want to have you don't want to have a business development personnel who actually, do business development in front of a computer at his office without going on the ground, okay? Or the business development only in charge of every time where there's, conferences, overseas conferences, events, and then you have these business development guys flying out. I think that's wrong. Instead, when you put yourself into their mindset, in their thinking, okay, there are also measurables, okay, to everyone, not just a salesperson, not just a business development, including the CEO, everybody have some form of measurement. So you can always ask them what drives them, because from a business development angle, the person who, or the departments who drive it, they have to be understanding that, hey, is our company actually able and capable, okay, able to deliver, capable to come up with better products. So you have to go into their mindset. It's like, what is business development to them? Because a lot of people still get very confused that business development just go out, talk to others, let others know that we have some products that are coming up. Okay, that is not business development per se. That is actually the job of marketing. And the job of marketing, I won't go into too much details, but the job of marketing will market only when there's a service, there's a products. So whose job is that? That is the job of the technical guy, R&D guy, product guys, and everybody. But here's the thing, business development, because we are targeting at mid to long term, it simply means that they must have the mindset, they must have the drive to be able to engage a potential customers. Okay, from the day you engage them all the way until you have a product that may suit them. But yet at the same time, you're able to look from a mid-term to a long-term that hopefully you can actually convert these particular clienteles with these particular customers to be able to come back to you. It means you will probably be the first person that they actually remember or recall, that they will pick up the phone and then give you a call and say, hey, sometime back, I saw what you guys did. You share with me some of these informations. How about, let me know. I have a needs. Okay, is there something that you can actually, get back to me? Is there something that you can actually, let me know? And this is where the whole entire psychology of the sales, of the business person must be able to, okay, put all things together and say, okay, maybe these customers may need this product, may need this service. So how do I gather people up? Because you are actually in preparation, you're preparing everything that you're going to target it to pass it over to the sales side. So simply put, the sales personnel, okay, while they are running it, they are probably busy closing sales, building their sales leads and everything. But on the business development side, you must be able to see, okay, so if these customers or these potential customers or these potential companies, they may need this particular product now or probably later, you should be able to look into, okay, how do I plan? What kind of timeline are we looking at? Okay, what kind of demographics are we targeting? So basically, you can also apply your what, where, how, when, all your W's, and then wraps it around. So it is also important that if you're the business owner, when you want to hire such personnel, whether is it business development or is it in sales, you must always understand what drives them. And then at the same time, fine-tune what drives them to fit your corporate culture, fit your company's direction. And only when you have able to sync up everything, okay, you are able to convert. Okay, you are able to convert not just sales, but able to go down to the ground and actually to understand more. And then when that happens, it makes it much easier for people to sell, much easier for people to position themselves. Because when it comes to a business development person, the business development person usually have to look into a few things. First and foremost, do we actually have the right product? Okay, this is important. I must have the right product, but here's the thing. When I say right product, it simply means that I will probably identify the kind of customers. These customers, okay, do I have the right customers to be served by the right product? If I don't have the right product, but I have the right customers, can I actually work out something and then I can still serve them later? So this is important. You must create an environment where everybody have this mindset, have this drive, and be able to understand that, okay, I may not be able to create, okay, that opportunity for these customers now. But however, I can put them into the loop. I put them in the newsletter. I can pick up a call, talk to them down the road, and then I get them involved, get them to know, hey, what are we doing? What are we rolling out? So this must be something that actually drives them to, hey, I'm actually doing business development. I'm not looking at short-term sales. I'm actually building longer term, and at the same time building a relationship, so that should these customers come back and say, hey, I need something, then I can quickly, as a business development guy, I can actually quickly run over to the salesperson. Okay, say, guys, I built this pipe, okay, this pipeline, and things are coming in. So guys, let's work together. I think this is important. This is where actually your psychology have to make sure that these guys are actually well equipped as and when it's needed. Okay, next one. Okay, this is interesting. I think for those here in Singapore, you probably know most of us are actually working from home. So, but at the same time, in Taiwan, I think this is where our partner, these are partners of Xprenia, T-Hub, from Taiwan side also seems that there's a huge, virus going around, and similarly, like between Singapore and Taiwan and many other countries, there's a spike. So question here is that doing business virtually versus physically. Okay, this is my experience. Here's the thing. When you talk about doing business virtually versus business, physically, I think it's very relevant in today's world, where flying is probably not quite possible for most of us. So how are you going to do business if you're a sales guy or if you're a business development guy, where you probably can't even meet the person physically? I mean, we are not even talking about flying overseas. We are talking about even doing it physically. Now with this social distancing, the 1 meter, 6 feet, and a whole bunch of all these. So how do we actually do it? I think this is where 1, 2, 3, 4, the few slides that I mentioned just now, comes in very importantly. You see, here's the thing. Pre-pandemic or post-pandemic, okay, we are always doing business virtually. Okay, we are always. So what do I mean? When we say virtually, doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be on the Zoom. It can be simply someone who actually saw your products, attended the events, physical events, exhibitions, whatsoever. They come to you and say, hey guys, I met you guys some time back. I got your brochure, I got your leaflets. You put me on your mailing list. I'm your LinkedIn. I follow your Facebook. I follow your, your Instagrams. I need something. I may need help. Okay, why? It may not necessarily mean that they are not able to get their needs or their wants service in their own country. It may just be that you probably have something that the other competitors, local competitors, may not be able to provide. Maybe your service is better. Maybe you're more reputable. Maybe you have a much more superior products. So when we talk about doing business virtually, then this is where it actually does make a huge difference between sales and business development. Okay, sales is actually quite straightforward. Okay, it's either you go out, virtually, and start identifying which are the kind of customers that you may need. Well, sometimes some of them actually do, look at the necessary events, look at the joint associations, and then participate in events, and then they send it out, emails, newsletters, and everything, and then they follow up. So that's probably what some of the marketing folks will actually helps on the sales side. But however, doing sales, especially doing virtually, well, I mean, if we can meet physically, that's always the best. But if you can't, then the next best thing is actually calling. I don't know about you guys, but I think the attention spans are for most people, especially on if you're texting each other. I think the attention span is actually very short, because not only you send a message to them, maybe 10 other people are actually sending messages to your potential clients, and everyone will probably be fighting for the attentions. But if that is the case, isn't it better to just arrange a time, give a call? And sometimes calling don't even have to go into Zoom. Like, I think this is why these days there's a lot of Zoom fatigue, because it seems that anything you have to do by having to meet face to face. I mean, at least virtually. I don't think so. I think this is where the part of doing business virtually is where you really need a lot of help from the business development side. So what I mean is that when you go into the business development side, to work with these folks, to be the guy, let's say when you're in a war, you don't just attack straight away. You probably send planes, you send to bomb the place first, send rangers and a whole bunch of all this. So business development are just exactly like that. You actually get them to comb the market, comb the demographics, and then quickly identify, and then probably even funnel it down. And then working together with the marketing side. Once you funnel it down already, when sales leads start coming in, and this is actually, you spend a shorter time to target all this who comes into you. Okay? And then leave the marketing, leave the business development guys to actually go out to do a sort of outreach program. And then when they do all those, then you funnel and then you filter, then you come in. So similarly, when it comes to doing physical, I think it's exactly the same. It is also, instead of doing virtually, okay, more virtual, you can always have a lot of tools. You can have tools that you can actually manage your sales lead, your generate your sales leads, everything. But similarly, physically, it's actually much easier. Partly it's because of physically, you are physically in front of the customers. You are doing face to face. You can identify whether does he or she actually likes what you are doing. Okay? And this is where your sales and business development, okay, can actually match up together. Which is why I always encourage, if someone who is in sales, but somehow they actually flare better, they actually do better in business development, or vice versa, it may actually be easier to pair them up together. Okay, don't worry. I mean, if you're a business owner, don't worry that is this gonna cause you to lose money? Actually, it's not, because by having two persons of different skill sets, but yet at the same time there's some overlapping, they may be able to actually help each other rather than pushing away each other. So when they work together, whether it's virtually or even physically, they can actually go in, okay, and target the customers, and then even filter. And then when they're seeing it, one from a short term, one from a long term, mid term to long term, this can actually help them to qualify and quantify potential clients faster. Okay, last one. Okay, checklist. Okay, my checklist is actually quite straightforward. Isha, I mentioned earlier. I think the checklist is basically your W's and your H. So it can be a why, what, where, when, how, and stuff like that. Okay, there's a few W's. Okay. So so why is this even a checklist? Here's the thing. No, I'm not going to just go to it. Give you a whole checklist and say this is how to become a salesman, how to become a business development, what are the differences. I think this is where the last 60 minutes was used for. But what I'm trying to say here is that first and foremost, the checklist that you should actually look at is that number one, you have to understand everybody should know how to sell themselves. If everybody knows how to sell themselves, meaning that you are selling a product, okay, you're just selling the products, but you should actually sell the value. You should actually sell trust. So when you're able to get the other party to trust you, and then when they trust you, they see that there's a value in what you're trying to sell them, that is a checklist by itself. So this is important. And then the other one is that you also have to ask yourself, what drives you yourself? Whether are you a sales, are you in business development, what actually drives you? Because if it's just purely, hey, I just want to be driven because I want the sales, I want to get a commission, nothing wrong. Okay, but it is also at the same time, if you're a business owner, you probably need to identify, okay, what are the kind of types of people that you want to drive in, that you want to bring in. Because if you are bringing the wrong people, yes, it may give you short-term sales, but it may actually damage your branding. And as we all know, once a brand is damaged, it's going to be very, very difficult. And also another few things is also why. Okay, why do you need such kind of a business? Okay, what are you looking at? So why do we hire this particular person? Why is this product being made? So all this should actually wraps around to get the sales guy and the business development guys to actually go down to the ground to really listen. I know that some of you guys may say, hey, shouldn't that be the job of marketing? Yeah, sure. But guess what? Business development and sales guys, they are your front line. They are actually on the ground much, much more. And they can hear, they can listen, they can have a cup of coffee, they listen to a lot of stuff. But most importantly is how to translate that into something that is measurable for them to sell more, for them to look into the midterm, for them to look into the long term. That should be something that we should actually understand a bit more. So the checklist is just basically your W's, okay, what, where, when, how, and all this. Put them in, Okay, this is not a playbook. Okay, it's not like a guide or whatever. I think most importantly is that understand the difference between both of them. And here's the thing: you don't have to choose that you have to be one of them and not the other one. In fact, you should actually look into how to tap onto the strength of both. And this is where I think this is what I want to share today. And hopefully it has been useful for everybody.
Okay, thank you so much, Paddy, for sharing. Now we are opening to the floor for some Q&A session. So we already have a question in the chat from Andrew. So do many companies not use business development as a euphemism for sales?
So here's the thing. I think it also depends on, it all depends on also the business owner. Because I think one of the misconceptions that a lot of people always have is that, do I even need a business development? Can I actually get a sales guy to be a business development? Meaning that I actually, instead of hiring two types of people, why not I just combine them together? Well, there's no a yes or no answer. I think it also depends very much on the company. Can they actually afford to hire? For me, it's actually quite straightforward. Let me just break it down. For a lot of startups, I think the very first thing that they look at will probably not be hiring a business development. Okay, it can probably be looking at, I'd rather have someone to bring in sales, to generate sales for me now. And then once I have enough sales, I have enough revenue, then I will probably look into if there's a need. Okay, if there is a need or a huge need, then I look into a business development. Is this short-sighted? I don't really think so, because I think for startups, their standing is a bit different. Some of the startups are actually running on fundings. So to them, it's that, hey, I want to have the numbers. I want to have as many users as possible. And users, but that may not necessarily convert into paying customers. So which is why I'm not surprised that some of these companies that are in startups, they actually don't even hire sales. They actually hire community managers. So when that happens, does the community managers can function like a business development? Answer is yes. Because ultimately, if you are a community manager, you hire them, you get them, get the users to come in. Okay, and when that happens, this is actually, you have a base. And when you have a base, you can actually do a conversion to them. So similarly, if you're talking about SME, some of the SME may not even see themselves as, hey, I actually need a business development, because why? The owner themselves will probably can actually function as a business development. So in this case, then who should actually hire a business development? I think title aside, I think most importantly is that as the business owner, I think it is your responsibility to understand the functions of both sales and both business development. Sometimes when you hire a sales guy, he or she can actually function like a business development. Why? Because not everybody are capable, to hit the ground and then to start selling. Sometimes you have to put them, go through maybe a probation periods of 3 months, get them to actually understand the products and then get them to feedback. That itself can function like a business development role. So that if you need things like, I don't need a long-term one, I may actually look into someone that's coming from the sales, especially if sales is a concern. Okay, I hope they understand. Give it an answer. Okay.
Cheers, thank you, Paddy.
Yeah, let me see what's next. Okay, with the current COVID situations, do you feel business development has less importance since physical meeting is tougher and business depends more heavily on virtual marketing and virtual sales? Okay, answer is yes and no. Okay, why? The biggest problem here is that it's a current COVID situation. I mean, let's put it this way. Last year, here in Singapore, at least 7th of April, I think this is the first day of a so-called circuit breaker. I think during that time, nobody actually knows what is going on. And during that time, we thought that probably just a month or so. And then guess what? It actually extended and extended. And similarly, like here today is a Thursday. Today is since Sunday until now. In fact, this is actually the 5th day of the lockdown or circuit breaker, whatever you call it. The question here is that we may not be able to foresee the future too long, okay? But I do know that, you want to get sales, here's the thing. Not everybody wants to talk to a sales guy, because a sales guy is being driven by numbers. Again, nothing wrong. But a sales guy is when they are driven by numbers, it simply means that they are not able to see you physically. So they may actually need to push up. So when they push it out, they try to get as much engagement as possible. But guess what? Not everybody is ready to buy now. Because there are some companies, with products, with services that actually needs you to service them, needs you to talk to them, or even physically visit your factories, physically to touch the products and understand and all this. Unless the sales guy is able to function like a business development, they means to share with them, hey, this is what we have, but with no intention that actually I need to close these sales immediately. Okay, no simply means that. Okay, no simply means that. Nothing beats physical, because even you do business development, you always want to have someone to be able to sit down there, talk to you, and then see your body language, see the way you move, your gesture, your tone, and everything. As much as Zoom or Microsoft Teams or Google Meet can do that, but here's the thing, on the physical, you can just give a call to the fella and say, hey, you want to have a cup of coffee? Okay, probably everybody needs a cup of coffee. Okay, or tea, or have a drink. And then this is where physical comes in. When you sit down, you talk, and then you understand the problems. So we understand the problems, and then if you can come in now, good. If you cannot come in, hey, guess what? I'm a business development guy. I introduce some other partners or some other contacts that may be able to solve your current problem. Okay, that is where business development comes in. Just like now, let's say we are all at home. I don't think I will ever want someone to just dial in to me and say, sit down, expect me to sit down and then say, hey, so Paddy, how's things? Hey, how are the kids and everything? I tell you, I will never entertain that, because if you and we are all at home, so most likely we are going to have a lot of calls all scheduled properly. So whatever there's in between, there are gaps. I don't think I will actually have the time to sit down there and to have a small talk with you over Zoom. But however, to do physical, it simply means that, hey, I need coffee anyway. So since I have someone who's physically here, I will sit down. And this is where business development can come in. Okay. Last one, is it? Okay. Okay, there's another question. What's your advice on finding a balance between maintaining companies' brand and reputations while hitting sales targets? Okay, I won't give you the typical answer. I think a typical answer will just be, do trainings, talk to people and everything. I think, to be honest, I think it's going to be very tough. Why? Because I think our views to the world is actually through our laptop or through our devices. So that simply means that whatever that we're going to do is probably through this particular screen. Okay, everything that we see, okay, we literally can have a lot of control. So this means that if I go to a website, there's an advertisement that comes up, I can just install an ad blocker and then just block it. Okay, if I go into the LinkedIn, somebody have some conversations, I probably have friends who have a conversation which I'm actually not interested. Okay, I can actually snooze it for 30 days, and then I can move on. So I think my advice will probably be to strike a real balance. Okay, it should actually be using, if it's during a COVID periods. Okay. It is not so much to build on it. It's actually to do maintaining. When we talk about maintaining, simply means that pick up a call, not Zoom, pick up a call, talk to your potential partner, talk to your potential customers, talk to your client, and just talk to them. Just a very short one. Talk anything except business. That means don't talk about business. Just talk about something that you and we are all suffering. Meaning that start at home with our kids running. At least for me, there are 2 kids running around every time. Okay, so I'd rather have someone who actually just pick up a call. Hey, Paddy, I'm not asking you for a cup of coffee, but let's ask, how's things? Bad. Okay, let's complain a bit, let's bitch a bit and everything. I think that itself actually goes in and say, hey, you actually care not so much about me giving you sales. You actually care about my mental health. You actually care about my wellness, and you actually bother to call and not just intrude into me with a Zoom call. I think this is where I rather let the people associate you with your company rather than pushing lots of advertisement to it. Because similarly, even let's say you don't do it on the virtual, you do it on the physical. I think I was a business development engineer. So what I always do is that I will always have a list of people that I will call. And during my time, there wasn't any WhatsApp. We were doing SMS, and we were talking about international SMS. So what I always do is that I will always remind myself using my PDA with a to-do and a reminder to have at least 5 people that I will always keep in touch every day. That means 5 different people that I always keep in touch for no reason. Well, not in a way, not say no reason, but in a way that actually I just want to let them remember me, so that I myself will not fade away from them. Fade, F-A-D, will not fade away. So what I'll do is I just pop them a message and say, hey, how's things and everything, and then that's it. I think this is why, because they will associate me that represent a company and represent a product, and over time they will remember me. When they remember me, they will associate all this, and then this make it very easy that I can actually engage them as and when things are better, or when I have new products. And at the same time, I can actually easily just say, okay, we got a new products. Let my sales guy talk to your sales guys, and then let them have a bit of discussions and see whether if there's anything that we can fit, and if there's anything where we can be of service to you. I think this is where I will try to maintain. I think now it's actually much easier. Now you have you have a WhatsApp, you have you literally can reach anybody just through the phones or through the email. I think if you really want to maintain on it, don't look at it from a tangible or intangible, but just look at it on a personal. Because once you're able to go into the personal on that level, just tell the fellow, hey, how's things? What are you doing? You need any helps? If you have any challenges, I see what I can do with you. That's it. And people actually remember. And when that associate you very closely, and this is where a reminder is being plugged into their head, and unknowingly they actually will come back to over time.
If you have more questions, right, feel free to drop it via Paddy's LinkedIn, which I will share later on. Okay, so before we end this session, let me share a bit of slides with you guys before we end. So I know that this session is a bit short. So if you want to know how to really sell in Southeast Asia on a bigger picture, because what Paddy has shared is only the surface level. Okay, so if you really want to know how to sell, take a look at this course. Okay, so what will be covered in this course? So we have the introduction, how to sell in Southeast Asia, understand the whole ASEAN region, how to decide where to sell, the key factors, financial, etc., and some market entry strategies. Okay, this slide will be sent to you guys after this event, so not to worry. Okay, if not, you guys can take a screenshot of this. All right, so how to sell? So what does it comprise? Okay, it has case studies, real life case studies. Okay, some fact sheet statistics that we have compiled over time over here, and it's only $29.19. Okay, reason why we are doing these sales is because Singapore is going to another semi-lockdown, which is going to be a full-fledged lockdown very soon. So we want to use this opportunity to promote, share this promotion with every one of you. The initial price is about $100 per course. All right. So to find out more information, you can actually scan this QR code over here. Okay. So if you're not interested in individual course, for example, we do have a free course, or rather a listing called Doing Business in Southeast Asia, which will give you an overview. How do we go about doing business in Southeast Asia? Well, these are the experiences and insights coming from experts like Paddy Tan and the team itself. All right. So this market entry series comprises of like other courses, like teach you how to prepare for market entry in Southeast Asia, how to market, how to sell business deals, how to sell, and lastly, how to systemize your business. Okay, so we have like a stack of spec sheets, statistics, case studies, and also templates. So this templates is a guide, or rather a guidance for you to follow through when you're lost. So basically you just plug and play whatever is on your head to make plans ahead, to come up with a market entry strategy for your business. Okay, so this whole package is actually worth about 1,200 plus Sing dollar as a whole. Okay, reason is because other than this, right, you will be able to, okay, if this is purchased via the website alone, it is cost about 1,000 plus. Okay, but today we are giving you a promo of like $199 plus 2 consultations. It's the consultations that is worth the most over here. So what does the 2 consultation, how does it work? Okay, so basically, if you sign up, so you have 2 available slots to, you can send in your availability to our experts, let's say Paddy Tan. Okay, you can buy in 1 hour or 30 minutes and then just ask whatever questions you have on mind. And then he will answer whatever it is, okay, within that given slot, okay? So if you want to find out more, you can actually scan it over here, all right? Okay, so other than that, okay, we also have like interviews with entrepreneurs from Southeast Asia, okay? So these are the list of people that we have interviewed. And of course, there are many others as well. And as well as insights from experts. So we get Paddy, Anurag, okay, as well as Shuyi and many more other like experts from different countries in Southeast Asia region, okay? So all these, right, are conducted live, okay? And with minor editing, like arms, but majority of them are no filter, okay, or rather fluff. Okay, so if you want to be part of us, to do your sharing and, you know, to be interviewed like the rest of the people over here. Oops, okay. Okay, so you can actually scan the QR code to fill up the form and we will contact you within 7 to 14 working days. Okay, so what do you get if you want, if you become a part of us as a Xpreneur member? Okay, first of all, we will filter accordingly. You will get the opportunity to be interviewed. So this will help you to brand yourself, market yourself. Okay, editing, filming, questions will be prepared by us. All you need to do is just attend with yourself and your sharing. Okay, so another portion is you get to share your expertise and insights with our members. Okay, so let's say we have a live session just like Paddy. Okay, we will get you involved and share your insights and expertise. Okay, so other than that, you will also get the chance to speak in our events. Other than events, all right, we, like I mentioned earlier, we also have community sharing. So we do that live. As of now, we do it on Zoom and Clubhouse. Understand that Clubhouse is only available for iOS users, but Android users will be available very soon. So do fill up this form and we will contact you as soon as possible. All right. Okay. So if you want the link will be in the chat box. You can check it out. All right, as I'm going to the very next slides. All right, so for more updates or queries, you can actually contact us via the various social media platforms over here, or you can contact us at media@xpreneur.com. Okay, so updates could be being a part of our community. We also help to like matchmake with people who wants to look for jobs, people who wants to look for partnerships, or any other potential opportunities that can actually help you scale your career journey or even your business. Okay, so more updates will be posted over here, and of course we have more webinars and events, or rather sessions like this coming up. Okay, if you have any questions, additional questions regarding the sales or business or whatever that Paddy has shared today, you can actually scan this QR code over here, connect with him, drop him an email, not drop him an email, slide into his DM, is it what you call on LinkedIn, or just basically send in a message. Okay, he will get back to you as soon as he can. He's a busy guy. So yeah, feel free to do that. If you have any questions regarding joining us as a member, how does the interview work, or even like enrolling to courses or anything that's happening on Xpreneur, feel free to connect me on LinkedIn and I will show you the instructions and explain to you on how to do so, and etc. etc. All right, so this is our upcoming event. Okay, it's happening next week Thursday, same day, 27th of May, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. So it's organized by Xpreneur and T-Hub Taipei. Okay, so if you want to join us and find out more about regarding to developing business overseas with border restrictions, as COVID is getting serious over time right now, we can't fly, but we still need to do business to survive. Feel free to scan here to register. All right, so that's all for today. And once again, thank you for your time.